If you have just been betrayed by the person you thought was the love of your life, you are currently standing at the most dangerous crossroads of your existence. Most men react by spiraling. They lash out, they beg for closure, or they let the bitterness rot their potential from the inside out. You are currently losing more than just a partner. You are losing your own identity to the gravity of their poor choices. Most men spend months, sometimes years, living in a state of emotional debt to someone who didn't respect them enough to stay loyal. Today, we are breaking down the 4 ironclad rules that high-value men use to reclaim their lives after a massive betrayal. If you want to emerge from this with your self-worth not just intact, but stronger than before, you need to hear rule number 4. It is the one mistake that keeps 99% of men trapped in a cycle of self-pity for years. And it is the key to finally detaching your happiness from external validation. Let's dive in. To make this process truly actionable, we are dividing this guide into 4 essential phases. First, mastering your internal emotional response. Second, installing rigid boundaries. Third, the pivot to aggressive self-growth. And finally, how to leverage a circle of high-value men for true, unyielding accountability. This is not about forgetting. This is about upgrading your capacity to handle adversity without losing your edge. Let's get to work. The first thing you must understand, the thing that separates the men who grow from the men who wither, is that your reaction defines your character more than the betrayal ever could. When you feel that fire of anger or that hollow pit of sadness, you have a choice. Most men choose the path of least resistance. They seek revenge. They send those late-night texts, or they act out of pure ego. You must stop. Retaliation only serves to delay your own healing, and more importantly, it lowers your own standards. You need emotional awareness, not emotional projection. Most men are terrified of their own feelings, so they project them onto everyone else. You need to process your anger and disappointment by articulating them to yourself or a trusted mentor, not by dumping them on the person who betrayed you. You must view this betrayal as a mirror of their character, not a deficit in your own worth. When you view it this way, you realize that you aren't the one who lost. They are. You must refuse to beg for love or validation, as those are things a high-value man never has to ask for. When you refuse to validate a betrayal with a weak, reactionary response, you maintain your dignity, and dignity is the foundation of your recovery. Now that you have mastered your internal state, you will still completely waste your progress if you keep the door open for more chaos. When trust is broken, you must prioritize your peace over the illusion of control. If the relationship is unsalvageable, you walk away with dignity. You must internalize this truth. Walking away is not weakness. It is the ultimate form of wisdom. Create both physical and digital distance. This isn't about hiding. It's about clearing your mind so you can regain perspective without the constant triggers of the person who betrayed you. You need to see things as they are, not as you hoped they would be. Protect your time and energy as if your life depends on it, because in a very real sense, it does. You must recognize that calm is your currency. If a person brings chaos into your life, they are effectively taxing your potential. You must stop paying that tax. But even with perfect boundaries, you will just end up lonely if you don't aggressively pivot your energy toward your own evolution. You must take the energy you once invested in that relationship and sharpen your own life. This is the time to reaffirm your identity. Remember that your value is built on consistency and self-respect, and that value remains intact regardless of your relationship status. You must focus entirely on fulfilling the promises you make to yourself. Double down on your physical health, your professional goals, and your personal development. By achieving new milestones, you regain agency, a sense of control that was stolen during the breakup. Reflect on the relationship objectively. What do you truly value? What do you actually need in a partner? What will you absolutely no longer tolerate? This transforms a painful experience into a powerful catalyst for becoming a stronger, wiser version of yourself. You are not getting over a person. You are outgrowing the version of yourself that allowed this to happen. This brings us to that fourth critical rule: seeking wise counsel. A high-value man knows that true strength is self-aware. If the trauma is deep, there is no shame in consulting with a professional coach or therapist to process the experience and rebuild your capacity for trust. More importantly, surround yourself with a circle of men who hold you to your own standards. They are the ones who will stop you from slipping into the comfort of bitterness or the trap of self-pity. You cannot heal in a vacuum, and you cannot grow if you are surrounded by people who validate your weakness. A high-value man treats betrayal as an unfortunate event, never a life-defining failure. By maintaining your integrity, focusing on your growth, and refusing to compromise your peace for someone else's actions, you will emerge with your self-worth entirely intact. If you want to stop wasting your potential on people who do not deserve your energy and finally build a life backed by actual discipline, hit that subscribe button right now. I drop high-yield strategies on mindset and sovereignty every single week. However, mindset alone isn't enough if your physical discipline is off. Click right here on this video where I break down the specific routine to master your daily discipline and reclaim your dominance. See you there.